Welp, I just spent an hour and 30 minutes trying to record my picks video just for the file to corrupt twice. Fuck! Anyways, first we have Edson Barboza versus Drakkar Klose. I'm obviously going to go with Edson Barboza because if you've seen the description on my YouTube channel, you will know that I am the biggest Edson Barboza laser on YouTube. And I actually like what they did with this fight because I feel like with Barboza, they give him killer after killer after killer. They're actually giving him a fellow unk in Drakkar Klose, who is 37, so that's good for Barboza. I'm going to go with him though. I'm never going to pick against Barboza ever, even if he's fighting against Elliott on short notice. I don't give a fuck. Next, we have Bobby Green versus Carlos Diego Ferreira. Bruh, I am so tired of breaking down this fight, dude. I can't be asked anymore. Because God forbid, the one time I try to be technical with my shit, my files just decide to fucking corrupt. Anyways, I just can't trust Bobby Green to win a fight in 2025. So I am going to go with Carlos Diego Ferreira. But to be fair to Bobby Green, he is losing to guys like Mauricio Rufy, who is fighting Benoit Saint Denis in a ranked matchup. Bobby Green did KO Grant Dawson. And then, yeah, Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. He couldn't deal with the speed. Obviously, we had that Jalen Turner fight, which was... oh. And then in his past two fights, he's been submitted immediately by Paddy Pimblett, who is in that title elimination conversation, and he's obviously lost to Ruffy. So his losses haven't really aged that badly. They've actually only ever aged well. It's tough to pick Bobby Green in 2025. So, you know, just because I don't want to talk about it later on in the video, this Nurse Ultimate Rudy Boy versus Brian Battle fight is incredibly close. It's 50-50, and I'm picking Brian Battle because I think he's going to win from 2 minutes and 30 seconds onward. I'm sorry. I just have to say that beforehand because, bruh, I've literally spent so fucking long breaking down that fight. I can't be asked to do it again. I'm sorry, okay? Anyways, next we have GM3 versus Mikhail Zajic. I'm going to go with Mikhail Zajic. He's training with the Fighting Nerds. He's 30 years old. He's going to be rapidly improving into me, fighters that go to the Fighting Nerds. I feel like they improve significantly. And GM3, I picked him against Brad Tavares. He lost, but people forget, man. He was giving Rainer to Ritter problems, man. People forget. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go with Mikhail Zajic. I think GM3 does have better grappling, with Mikhail Zajic having the slightly better striking. And even though Mikhail Zajic isn't a world beater, I think he's gonna improve with the Fighting Nerds. And also, Mikhail Zajic just naturally packs a lot of fucking power in his hands, which I think will give him the fight against GM3, because I think he'll be landing more damage if it goes to a decision. Next, we have Andra Gdinez. I'm going with Lupi Gdinez. And even though she doesn't grapple offensively, which seems to be Jessica Andrade's weakness, I still think she's decent on the feet. And I think she'll be good enough to be Jessica Andrade. But this is a close fight, and it is a WMMA fight, so it can go either way. But I'm just going to go with Gdinez. Next, we have Alexander Hernandez versus Chase Hooper. I'm going to go with Chase Hooper. Alexander Hernandez is decent on the feet, but I just think Chase Hooper's grappling is on a different level. Like what he did to Jim Miller, it's been years since anybody has dominated Jim Miller like that on the ground. So yeah, I'm going to go with Chase Hooper. Round 2 submission, and Chase Hooper has been rapidly improving. I mean, to be fair to Alexander Hernandez, he is at his absolute peak, but dude, I just think Chase Hooper on a different level when it comes to the ground. Next, we have Geoff Neal versus Carlos Prates. I am going with Carlos Prates, but again, for the third time, I'm going to explain why I am worried for Carlos Prates. So the main reason why I'm worried for Carlos Prates is that it seems like Carlos Prates does struggle with people who have good boxing, because people forget, man, Trevin Giles was giving CP massive amounts of problems. And yeah, that is something I worry about with Geoff Neal, who does have very good boxing. And in my opinion, in his prime, he had some of the best boxing at welterweight at that time. But here's the thing. Geoff Neal, in his last fight, looked good, but he is quite hit or miss nowadays. If it's one of those performances, if he does try to hold Carlos Prates up against the cage, I think CP, having a Muay Thai background, he's going to know how to deal with it. I don't think he'll just accept position, and I think CP will be able to do more damage in the clinch. And another thing, CP isn't going to have to worry about Ian Gary, who's going to be floating like a dandelion and stinging like a butterfly. He's looking at Geoff Neal, who's quite plotty, and he is quite, he's quite of like a Marvin Vettori blockhead, which is kind of a Chad style, don't get me wrong. It's just against CP, it's not really a good style. It really just depends on what Geoff Neal shows up that night. It really, really depends. But I am going to go with CP. Next, we have Jared Cannonier versus MVP. I'm going to be a little bit more quicker with this prediction because I kind of yapped in the last time I explained this when before my file got corrupted. I'm going to go with MVP decision because I think MVP is going to have a puzzle that Jared Cannonier won't be able to solve in time. If this was a 5-rounder, I probably would have gone with Jared Cannonier because Jared Cannonier has shown that he's been able to adjust. I mean, I think it's mainly because of the insane amount of fighters he's fought at middleweight. Just look at Jared Cannonier's career at middleweight and just look at the murderers row he's fought. Yeah, if this was a 5-rounder, I would go with Jared Cannonier, most likely. Next, we have Tim Elliott versus Kai Sakura. I'm going with Kai Sakura decision. Tim Elliott literally got gifted a top 10 ranking after being out of the octagon for like multiple years. I don't know why, but fuck that, I am not picking Tim Elliott. My guy is a 38-year-old flyweight. Fuck no, I am not picking Tim Elliott, bruh. And then finally, we have Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico. Oh wait, why am I saying finally? We still have the main event. Bro, I'm so tired. And we have Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico. I'm going to go Lerone Murphy. You can see it right there. I mean, I just don't think Bellator is on the level of the UFC. And most Bellator guys struggle. To me, Aaron Pico wasn't some crazy, super high level fighter. Like, he is very good. It's just like, is he going to be the top 5 featherweight in Lerone Murphy? I don't think so. Anyways, yeah, I'm going with Lerone Murphy. And in the main event, we have DDP versus Hamza Chimaev. This championship fight, bro, it is so fucking good. But yeah, I already broke down this fight for a long time, twice. So I'm not gonna be as in depth because I can't fucking say the same thing again. It's gonna fucking make me lose my mind. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna say the same thing again. But with DDP and Hamza Chimaev, there's an analogy. And the analogy is that if DDP gets past the first 2 rounds, Hamza Chimaev's cooked, and DDP is going to break Hamza Chimaev. And I always kind of went with that, and I was always kind of sticking with DDP for that reason. But Bedtime kind of, talked about this fighting. He was saying that Hamza Chimaev was being underrated. And I actually think that DDP is a bit, like, even though DDP always looks tired, he gets away with it. And here's my analogy. I think even though DDP always looks tired in his fights, and he's always he's breathing heavily with his entire body in his fights, I think by the time DDP is gassed, Hamza Chimaev is going to be even more fucking gassed. Now here's the thing, I am worried that if DDP blitzes, he'll just get taken down, maybe fucking arm triangled. And here's something I'm also worried about with DDP. Is that once they're gassed from the grappling, which I think they will be in the 4th and 5th round, I think they'll both be incredibly gassed. I think it'll probably be 2-1 Hamza Chimaev. And I will be worried considering DDP sometimes isn't technical with his blitzes. Like, against Sean Strickland in the rematch, he was very, very technical. Like, I think that was actually the best DDP we've ever seen. But some of the times, as the fights go on, he does just do the I don't give a fuck blitz and just forgets about technique entirely. And I think Hamza, when he's tired, he's going to be able to be a little bit more technical, and he'll probably be able to land a little bit more cleanly, which might actually give Hamza a close round, which is something I'm worried about with DDP. Honestly, there's so much more things that I want to talk about with this fight, but it doesn't fucking matter, dude, because in reality, like, this man can't fucking read, he's illiterate. Everything on paper doesn't matter when it comes to a DDP fight. Like, this man, how are you defeating Adesanya, breaking him, and being the first guy to submit Adesanya? How are you finishing Robert Whittaker quicker than even Adesanya did? How are you dominating Sean Strickland? It doesn't make sense. So yeah, I'm going to go with DDP, either late TKO or very close decision. Anyways, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed my fucking goofy ass picks. I'm sorry for them being kind of boring. Look, I it's just tough to pick underdogs, man. It's tough, but I will go. You know what? Who's a good underdog? I mean, I am going with DDP. That's kind of my underdog, I guess. I don't fucking know. I'll figure it out. Anyways, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. Peace.